Well, here we go. Today is the day we talk about the most disappointing bourbons and whiskeys of 2024. We've already rated the list of the best whiskeys of the year, but now it's time for me to give you my 5 most disappointing bourbons and whiskeys of the past year. Welcome in, everybody. My name is Brandon Spinner. This is the Whiskey Weather YouTube channel. And I say it's always whiskey weather. Now, before we get started, I want to know what the most disappointing bottle was of 2024 that you purchased. Drop that in the comment section below, and let's jump right into the list. So before we dive into those top 5, I do want to throw out a few caveats. The number one, it had to be a bottle that I purchased with my own money in 2024, and that was also released in 2024. If it was sent to me, if I didn't buy it, it's not going to be part of this because I can't be disappointed in something that I got for free. Secondly, if I'm saying it's disappointing, it doesn't necessarily mean that it is bad. It just means that I was hoping for more. And there are a couple bottles on this list with that case. And as we jump into the list, I do want to throw out one more thing, an honorable mention. Now, it's not the top 5 for my 5 most disappointing, but I was really hoping for more from this Old Forester 117 Run Finish bottle. After shipping, you had to buy 2 of them, shared one with a buddy, but between the 2 of us, I think it was like $85 a piece for $3.75. It's not amazing, it's not great, it's not terrible, it's drinkable, but I just was wishing for more. But as we jump into the top 5 of my 5 most disappointing bottles of bourbon or whiskey in 2024, one that I was very sad made this list just because of how big of a fan I am of baseball, and I wanted it to be great, was the Field of Dreams. This was the Players Series Batch 2 of the 2024 93 proof whiskey. It has got an amazing story behind it. Made from corn from the actual Field of Dreams. This Field of Dreams bourbon, I believe also that an MLB baseball player is the head of it, or former MLB baseball player. I love the concept. 23,114 bottles, 1 bottle for every player that has made their way into the major leagues. Just fell short for me. Unfortunately, it's one of my lowest rated scores on my Lightning Counter score this year. I believe it chimed in right around like 4.7 or something like that. Under 5, that means that is average, if not mediocre. I was hoping for more, especially at a price point of $60 to $70. Sad to say it. It's a cool looking bottle, it's a cool looking concept. I was hoping so much that this was going to be something that was at least palatable. It just really fell short. Number 4 on the list is a bottle that I think has popped up in a lot of people's most disappointing bourbons in the last couple of years. And unfortunately, for me, that is Booker's. But this Booker's batch was 2402, which was the Beam House batch. So 2402, man, for $100, this is what the most disappointing thing was. I believe it scored like a 5.2 or something on my rating score. So that's fine, that's average. But for a $100 bottle, I'm looking for more. I did try 3 of the 4 batches this year, the Springfield batch and then 2403. Both were very good, if not great. This one just falls very short, especially as this was the one that was put out right before Booker's The Reserves, which you saw in my top 10 list for one of the top bourbons of 2024, one of the top whiskeys of 2024. And if you want to check that list out, if you haven't already, it's up there on the top right of your screen, or you can check it out at the end of this video. However, man, Booker's are getting to that point where they're so inconsistent year in and year out. It's hard for me to want to shell out the money. And unfortunately, I took the bait on this one at Costco for $90, but for a $100 MSRP, I really was wishing for more, and that's why this lands at number 4 on the list. Coming from the same distillery at number 3, I believe this bottle is a bottle that a lot of folks had as one of their more disappointing bottles of 2024. It's Old Grandad 16. Now here's that caveat that I tossed out a little bit earlier. I still think this is a good bottle of bourbon. I'm just disappointed in how it ended up. So we've got an Old Grandad 16 year. It was bottled at 100 proof. On my Lightning Counter score, the best part of this was the nose. 1.7, I believe, was that score, and that was the top score out of any of the other categories. I thought it fell flat on the palate, the mouthfeel, and the finish. I really wish they would have bottled this a little bit higher proof, closer between anywhere from 107 to 114, even closer to that 114 regular Old Grandad 114 proof. And my problem is it's a $200 price tag. Now, if this was closer to $150, much more palatable, a much different story. However, for 200 bucks, now you notice I haven't opened it. I grabbed a pour from my buddy John. I mentioned him in the last video. We had this at his house because I wanted to try it before I opened it because of some of the other reviews that I had seen or heard about it. And there we have it. Fell very, very flat comparatively. Now, it's still got a 6.9 on my rating scale, which is really close to very good. That's between good and very good. So it's not a bad bottle of whiskey. I'm just telling you, I was wishing for a little bit more, and that's why it falls as my number 3 most disappointing bottle of 2024. Coming in at number 2, you saw this in one of the other ratings that I already did in the reviews earlier this year. And that is the Shanks Sour Mash Whiskey, the 2024 batch from Michter's this year. I was really excited to buy this bottle. I was able to grab it at just over MSRP. I believe MSRP was $109 this year. I got it for $120 at the Party Source, along with the Bomb Burgers. You saw the review up here on the top right of your screen, and if you haven't already, you can save that for the next video after this. But man, it fell very, very short. The nose was metallic-y to me. It didn't have that medicinal cherry. It had like that bad medicine cherry that I don't love. Just didn't get a ton out of it. There was not a whole lot of flavors with this. I thought it was very tannic. And that's unfortunate because I loved the 2022 batch that I tried, and I was super excited to get my hands on this. This was also one of my lower rated scores of the year at a 5.0, which is just average. And I think maybe after going to it a couple times, I even overrated that at 5.0. I do think it's more so mediocre, especially at the price point. Again, a lot of this is because of the price. We're talking 100, 200, 120 bucks. So between these 4 bottles, it's $450 of mediocre to decent whiskey. And that's why this falls as my number 2 ratings for most disappointing bottles of 2024. Now, before we jump into number 1, I do want to ask, if you haven't hit that subscribe button below already, smash that and share this video with your bourbon drinking buddy, because I want to help spread the channel to 15,000 subscribers by the end of 2025. We just crossed the 6,000 threshold. Hard for me to talk today. We just crossed the 6,000 subscriber threshold this past weekend, and we're on our way towards 2025 of making it to 15,000. And I want to thank all of my returning viewers and members who are part of the channel. And you can join the Patreon group below, as well as the YouTube membership below if you want to join as we head on into 2025, hoping for 6 to 8 barrel picks. Already have one in store that I've been really pumped about. I'm picking that here within the next 2 weeks, and it should be available in February. All my Patreon and YouTube members get first dibs, and if anything makes it past that, then regular viewers and followers on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, you've got a shot as well. So let's get the drum roll. My number 1 most disappointing bottle of bourbon, of whiskey, of 2024, and I know this is going to piss a lot of people off, and that's Heaven Hill's Heritage Hill 18 year. I have drank quite a bit of it. I like it. I don't love it. And this is the highest rated of all of these on the table. Just to put that in perspective, how can I rate something a 7.2, which is very good on my lightning counter scale, and still say it's the most disappointing bottle of 2024? That's because this bottle was $300. If I'm paying $300 for a bottle of bourbon or a bottle of whiskey, I want it to blow my mind. I want it to be the best bottle or close to the best bottle that I had this year. And this didn't even finish in my top 30, I don't believe. 7.2, that's very good. 120 proof, 18-year Elijah Craig. It's got the same mash bill as Elijah Craig barrel proof. It's got the same proof as a lot of them. 78% corn, 10% rye, 12% malted barley. Just think of this as 120 proof Elijah Craig 18-year. But that comes in at a MSRP of $150 to $160 at 90 proof. So you're really just giving me EC18 at a higher proof, and I had to pay an additional $150. That's where I'm most disappointed. I love Heaven Hill Distillery. Full disclosure, it's probably my go-to if I had to pick a distillery to only drink their juice for the rest of my life. Just wish this was better. I like it. As I mentioned, I don't love it. And at $300 for a price tag, even though it comes with a pretty box, I want to love this and not just like it. So that is why this is one of my most disappointing, the most disappointing bottle of 2024. I had a real hard time saying that I like it. Like I mentioned, I've had enough of it to enjoy it. I just wish it was better. And I know it made a lot of people's top 10 lists of 2024, and that's great for them. For me, it was just lacking a little bit, especially for that $300 price tag. Hopefully you did enjoy this video. You got some value out of it. And maybe if you come across some of these bottles in the next couple of weeks on your shelf, maybe you pass it up and I helped save you a few dollars here as we move on into the new year. If you did, please don't forget to smash that like button below. And the best way to support this channel, if it's not by subscribing, is just to share this with your friends so we can help spread the Whiskey Weather Nation. Thank you again for giving me your time today. I want to send a big thank you to all of my Patreon and YouTube members on the right side of the screen. We are moving forward into an amazing year of 2025. Hope that if you are doing Dry January, best of luck to you. And for those of you who aren't, please support the ones that are, because it is okay to not drink for a couple of weeks or a couple of months. It's important to me that we have a good relationship, a healthy relationship with alcohol. So again, support those who are doing Dry January. Here we go. My top 5 most disappointing bourbons and whiskeys of 2024. Hope you enjoyed this video. I end this video the same way I end every other one. It is always Whiskey Weather. Please remember to drink responsibly. And if you like this video, you're going to love more of those videos right there, which you can find on the top right of your screen. Cheers, y'all. We'll see you in that next video.